Okay, so what I think today is August 27, 2016. Try and keep this short. As you can tell, I'm working on some walnut ink. Okay, that's going to be for a little craft for Andre. It's the idea that you can actually make ink with this stuff. There was some sort of a philosopher back in the day, I can't remember his name, but long time ago, he used walnut ink in his writings because in those days, you know, they didn't have much, right? So the writings have been tested and it turned out to be walnut ink. And the thing about walnuts is the reason that they make such good ink, right, is that they have a compound. I don't know what the name of it is, but anyway, it's a compound that you don't have to add because it's already in the product, right? It's already in the husk, that helps to set the stain. That's what it does. Whereas other organics that you would use for a dye, say like a blackberry or something like that, it doesn't carry that compound. So therefore you would have to add in some sort of a, I don't know if it's a chemical or what it is, but you'd have to add it into your product in order for the stain to set. Now I've painted with walnut already and it stays, but it can also wash off, but so can paint. You know, if it's out in the elements, paint can wash off too over a period of time, because our rain is so acid. It has a lot of acidity in it, right? It's poisonous. It eats things, so it would eat walnut stain as well. But I have an idea for some crafts with Andre, so I just doing this for him to learn that we can make walnut ink if you come across walnuts, because he might want to do that later on in life. These things here are the actual walnut. Now they're the black walnut. There's a difference between the black walnut and the English walnut. The black walnut tends to oxidize much more quicker when you cut into the skin, and it gives off a dark, deep, richer after product in terms of the ink color, right, than the English walnut. So this is why you want these in here, because it will darken it. Now the last time I did this, I did everything on the porch. This time I'm doing everything in my kitchen sink, pretty much, right? And these things I had cooked on the porch the last time I did them on a little element. I don't have time to be running back and forth. I'm tired, and I'm not doing them on the porch anyway. So I'm just going to simmer this now like this between the two pots, right? I do have the fan on, but I just turned it off for this for now, and I'll put the fan back on, right? And just simmer it for, you know, at least 12 hours. Let it seep, right? And just kind of boil itself down. Then I'm going to strain it, and as I get more, I'm going to recook it with, especially these things, these round ones, right? Because like I said, these things hold a lot of color. A lot of color. You find them dry under the tree, right? And they're just rich in color. And because, again, the black walnut and the English walnut have this compound in terms of setting the dye and making it stay, right? You don't have to add anything into it other than some sort of an alcohol at some point to make it so it doesn't mold. Now I have some already from the last time I did this, which I think was in 2012 or 11 or whenever, I don't remember. I'll see if I can pull up an old video. And I never put no what do you call it, alcohol in it, but because the air can't get into it, it doesn't spoil, right? Like, it doesn't mold. The alcohol is to help prevent it to mold, because again, a walnut tends to have its own fungi, right? It has its own fungus, and if left unchecked, it's like a mildew, right? So you just have to be aware of that. Anyway, I'll be back. I'm going to show you what else I'm doing. Hold on. Okay, so now I'm in my sewing room, and I pulled out another machine. It's a FAF model, but it wasn't made in Germany. It was made in Japan. I like the ones that are made in Germany because they just last forever. My other one there is made from Germany. I'm going to take it at some point, hopefully, to the FAF company and see if they can just service it and, get it running for another 10 more years. Right? But in the meantime, I'm trying to figure this one out. It's slightly different, but it's been so long, people. My eyeballs are rolling around. If you notice, I got another light here. I'm going to need another light in here. I need lights just shining on everything so I can see, right? That's how bad it's getting sometimes. So anyway, I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, members and friends. I'm telling you, this is just too funny. Look what I have to do just to try and see this crap. Like, seriously. This is worse than being a surgeon. Right? Are you watching this? And this is how I got my eye. Okay, let me see. Focus. Patience is a virtue. Just remember that. Right? If you can get past that part, you'll be okay. Alright? Oh man. And like, this is a new machine. I've never used this one before, so, well, it's not a new machine. I bought it used someplace for $50 or something like that. Years and years ago. Right? So, this is a woolly nylon thread, this one. I think that's all I have to do for that one. And now I have to go into the second looper. But I just wanted you to see that. Okay? I got one thread. Now, how do you turn this off? Okay, so now I'm getting ready. I got the machine threaded. There was a little thing I was doing wrong there, but I fixed it. So anyway, the machine is threaded. I haven't used it yet. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to use it. But now I'm getting ready to do pairs, which I'm probably going to do a batch tomorrow because I have them sitting in the fridge, right? Because I had my son take them off the tree before they fell down. So anyway, I need to do at least one batch of pairs tomorrow, which takes pretty much almost a whole day for me, right? So in the meantime, I'm putting away this stuff. This stuff is done air drying. This here is a thyme, I'm pretty sure, because it's kind of thistly, right? That's how you remember. It's kind of like a thistle, right? And it's a cross between a rosemary. So anyway, what's happening here, people, is as the screen is flapping, because I can see right now, but it's not fully opened, and that's what makes it want to open, so it flaps open, right? And because it's flapped open so many times, what it's doing is it's dislodging my battery. So I'm having to take out the battery and put the battery back in before I can turn the camera back on. So that's what's happening here, if you're wondering, okay? Besides that point, anyway, I gave the last little batch of plums to my landlady. I picked them with Andre. Well, Andre was picking them anyway. And I put them in the fridge. And I'm glad I did because she came by like 2 days ago with her husband. And she ran to the plum tree. And there was just a few spriggly ones left, right? And they were kind of getting overripe. And, she was kind of, you could feel the sadness in her demure. And I'm like, well, hold on a minute. That's okay. We got some in the fridge. You can have those ones because the last time, I don't know if I uploaded or not. I think I have to upload it with this video, right? I made this. Now, I've looked online, and what I've discovered is I've made more of an Asian plum sauce. I was looking more for a sweet and sour, like a sweet plum sauce for egg rolls, but I wasn't using the right ingredients. I should have used pineapple juice, right, versus ginger and garlic and all that other stuff. I should have used and less vinegar. I added another half a cup of vinegar. So long story short, This is good for a marinade. This is what my youngest daughter mentioned when she tasted it, because it has that little bit of bite to it from the extra vinegar and the ginger and the garlic and whatnot. So in terms of a meat marinade or a chicken marinade to get it started, because the vinegar's in there, is going to permeate the meat. So this is good. But if you want it a little sweeter, I'll put the recipe, because I did write it down. It's somewhere on something out here. I'll find it. If you want it a little sweeter, then I would recommend taking away some vinegar and using a pineapple juice instead. Or you can make as is. And then what I'm going to do is, when I'm ready to open up a jar, I'm just going to take a can of pineapples and crush them up and mix them right into the sauce as it's marinating, if I want something slightly sweeter. So this is the end of my plum season. Next year, I'll work on something a little more sweeter. So in the meantime, this spice here, which was hanging, I think this is a marigem. I don't remember, but I've been thinking about it, and I'm thinking this is what this is, right? I'm pretty sure this is a thyme. So as you can see, I'm putting them into jars. This is the oregano with the flowers, right? And I have some of this already in jars, but this I'll put 2016. Here's the mint. You can see it's in the jar already. I just kind of leaving it open for a bit out there with wandering eye, right? Here is 2 different types of walnut husks that are clean. In terms of if you wanted to use them to brush teeth, or to make a paste to put on your skin as an antiseptic, in terms of a bug bite or something like that, or maybe a small cut, because this has healing properties in it. That's why people use it. If you take it internally, it tends to expel parasites. For this GOMI, no, I'm not brushing my teeth with this stuff yet, people. What you see with my teeth is me drinking a lot of tea. I drink tea all day long. And of course I smoke. And, I will take, what do you call those things? A pick, the toothpick, like the pick for the teeth, and some baking soda. And I clean my own teeth that way. I haven't been to a dentist for years. Because when I go to the dentist, they're not addressing the things that need to be done in terms of this, the right side of upper of my mouth is something's going on there with the root canals, and it's spreading and it's infecting the area. So when that time comes, I'm going to have my daughter videotape to show you what I'm talking about, and I will grind this up. Preferably this one. This one is the real black walnut. This one is more I don't know. It's just more reactive than the English walnut, right? It oxidizes. The black walnut oxidizes to the air very quickly. Andre and I are picking walnuts every day now. I come home with about 30, 35, 40 walnuts every day. And these ones, the actual black walnut, I'm cutting them off green, and I'm dehydrating them right away. But they oxidize very, very quickly. So these were green when they were put in. Whereas these ones retain their color. You can see they were green too, and they didn't oxidize as quickly. So anyway, those are clean. And as for walnuts, as you can see, they're starting to pile up here. Right? And from my experience, the last time I did this, okay, people, but you're going to get about 2/3 of good walnut compared to 1/3, maybe not so much. See, this is the ones, this is what I'm dehydrating right now, right? If you put it in water, like these ones, you rinse them off, then you peel them, and you do this, and they oxidize. These ones are still damp, right? Nothing in that tray. And then we've got some right here. They're running. I'm just running them through some cool air right now, right? Because they sweat. Now, this is the actual black walnut. These nuts are hard to crack. I like to crack mine open right in the middle. And then I want to use the shells for crafts with Andre. And then you can see I don't want to lose that. Oh, I don't want walnuts all over the floor. You can see, right? And then we've got another tray. So later on this afternoon, it's 3:30 right now, so probably at about 6 o'clock, 6:30, I'm going back with Andre, and we're going to go get some more. And I'm just doing them every day, people. I'm doing them every day as they're coming in, because I got plans for these things, right? And then also, too, in terms of when you're doing them, if you're doing them in the sink or in a bucket or whatever, They say, oh, only take the ones that are floating to the bottom. No, the ones that are floating to the top, don't take those. No, that's not necessarily true, people, because the last time I've done this, I was opening up the ones that were floating, and they were fine. All you have to do is just dehydrate them properly. If that was the case, there would be no industry in terms of walnuts, right? Because you need a lot of walnuts in order to be able to sell commercially, and they're not going to throw out they're not going to throw out 3/4 of their nuts because they're floating and the other 1/4 is sinking. You know, so be careful what you hear on the internet. I would just recommend doing them all. And if you're that concerned about getting value for your effort, you know, crack them in the middle, and then you can use them for a craft, glue them onto something, and then take some shellac. Or you can, you know, there's other things you can do. So in the meantime, Andre and I, we keep trying to get leaves from the trees, because we're making a little book, right? He's going to learn how to identify. I think when we go today, I'm going to have to bring the paper with me, because by the time I get home and get a chance to do it, this is going to be in his book. This is just a template of an English walnut tree, right? We're going to go sit underneath the walnut trees today and the acorn tree, because he's starting to learn to distinguish what the trees are. This one is an acorn tree. He found me some acorns too. He wanted to get the apple tree leaves, so there's the apple tree leaves, but that's how hot my house is. We brought these in last night, and you can see they're almost already dry. You can hear it. Right, so we're going to do those today under the trees, and then we're going to start making a little book. And I always wanted to do a children's book called Mr. and Mrs. Walnut. So maybe we'll work on that too. So in the meantime, I'm just going to put this stuff all away, and I'm getting ready now to do pears. I think I'm going to try and start on one batch of pears tomorrow. So the goal for today is not to so much sew, because I still have to clear off my sewing table, but to get ready for the pears, because we don't want to lose that food source either, right? You know, pears, especially pears. Pears are really good. And then because I did these, what, a week ago or whatever it was, I just put the cap back on, but I made the mistake of putting the garlic on top versus on the bottom, so it ain't necessarily sitting in there in the vinegar. So I've been turning those couple of jars, and these are the ones with the no salt, right? They have no salt in this solution. It's a 50-50 brine with vinegar, 5% acidity, right? So I've just been turning them upside down, making sure that this is getting pickled at the same time. So that's pretty much all I've been doing, people. Just trying to, like, keep up with the flow here, right? Seriously, just keep up with the flow. Oh, yeah, here's some parsley. I'm just going to throw that in a jar after that's dry. And then we've got our seeds coming. Lots of seeds, right? They're coming. So this one's ready to go in a jar. That's that lemongrass. Maybe get some more. Okay. Okay, people. Histamine. Nose is starting to run. Working with garlics and gingers and that kind of stuff. I was just out picking walnuts with Andre too. So anyway, this little machine here is pretty nifty. Look at that. It sure minces it up really, really nice. Okay, so what we got here is, I put it through the food mill. As you can see, this is different than the way if you were to put it through a food processor and do it with like the plum butter, right? This is different consistency and a different look, okay? And it's very, very nice. So that's chopped up in that little contraption over there. About 1.5 tablespoons of ginger. I had just enough in the house. And then a little bit of garlic. I did a small little clove of mine, and a couple of just, you know, bigger ones like this. So I'd say maybe about 4 cloves of garlic. Okay, I'll put that in there. Here's that juice, which is very, very thick. Oops, sorry, wandering eye. It's very, very thick. You can see how thick that is, right? So I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put some other things in there. Hold on. Yummy. Okay, people, I'm warning you now. I don't know how long this camera's going to work for, like, seriously. But in the meantime, what I've done is I've taken 2 hot chilies. Okay? I took 2 of them. I put them in this nifty little machine, which I actually like very much. It's been, like, kicking around my house forever. I've never used it. This is the first time. And I took a half an onion. It was a medium-sized onion. I took half. I put it in there. And as you can see, I'm grinding it up. And because what we're doing here is we're making a sauce, You know, we want it well blended, right? Okay, now it's still gonna cook, right? So there you go. It's like a puree now, right? Which is quite nice. And the onion is very, very fresh. So this is gonna be very, very nice. And then I'm gonna put it in there. Hold on. Okay, so I know you don't see it in there, but there's 1 3/4 cup brown sugar, and then I put about a 1 1/4 cup of white sugar, right? And I put, so far, 1 1/2 tablespoons, of salt. And then the juice, plum juice, came out to about 1.5 cups, right? Because I'm just gonna, you know, I'm kind of making my own here, people. I'm taking off what's on the internet there between 2 or 3 different recipes, and I'm kind of like doing my own thing, right? And then I'm going to take plain white vinegar at 5% acidity and put that in there. That's 1 cup. But because I've got 8 cups of puree plum, right, I'm going to add probably another 1/4 to 1/2 cup of the vinegar to compensate for the recipe that was, you know, made for 6 cups. And then I'm going to stir this all around. I'm going to put it on low, right? And I'm going to start cooking it on low and keep stirring it to get it to a smooth running sauce, and let the onion cook and the garlic cook, and let the chili pepper cook, and just let everything seep into the you know, in the juices, right? You're simmering it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to simmer it and give it a good simmer, right? And so the only thing that I might add more is about another half a tablespoon of salt, and anywhere between 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup vinegar. I'm going to let it seep and cook for a while. I'll probably add the vinegar anyway, and I might even add the salt, because that's what's going to help to preserve the food, right? And then they say put it into jars and process for 30 minutes in a water bath. Right, so I don't know. That's probably what we'll end up doing. I'm thinking to use salmon jars, because I don't have that many half-pint jars anymore, and I don't even have that many pint-sized jars anymore. So I'll probably end up using a whole stack of salmon jars, which will be fine for, you know, just pull it out for the one time when you have a dinner, right? One. That's a 1/4. It would be a 1/4 pint, I think. The salmon jar is about a 1/4 pint. But look at that. Look at that. That's already starting to look nice. So we're going to plug it in and turn it on. Hold on.